Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you the rank 3 player in the entire world right now. Only a bit behind Maru, a little further behind Cyril. But it is the People's Terran. It's Cure. Challenging him this time around, the blue Protoss on the other side of Royal Blood. We have Classic, a mainstay of top-tier Protoss, but Cure's been on a tear lately. And, well, not so much a untouchable player, but instead a behemoth, a freight train barreling down the tracks. And his macro makes it so you can't get out of the way. There's just units everywhere all the time. It's not the brain-breakingly, wrist-breakingly good micro of Beyond. It's not the mastermind of multitasking Maru. It's not the atrocious alliteration of Winter. No, Cure is all about building more stuff than your opponent, and if you've watched especially my guides, you'll know I can definitely appreciate that. Classic, on the other hand, is all about quality over quantity. He loves his tech and his high gas units and uses them to great effect, especially against unsuspecting players. Players who might not expect a surprise transition into asking for likes and subscribes. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,000. If we get 1,090 likes on this cast, on this video, Cure might finish his command center, and I will very likely cast another series. And for both of us, we'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Hopefully this series makes it a little bit better. It's a clash of styles that you don't see as much in this matchup. Usually the Protoss, especially recently, have been going for the more brute force approach with Terrans focused on 1-1-1, heavy tech occasionally. Now, battle cruisers? Well, battle cruisers are, I wouldn't call them necessarily brute force, but they're, you definitely can't rule that out. Battle cruisers are a little bit of everything. All right, we got to bring Gumiho in. I have yet to see Cure go for a battle cruiser against Protoss build. Still sticking to his regular guns here so far. Adding another Rax. He's got a Viking first. The Phoenix, clearly justifying it, as he did see the Stargate with the first Reaper. Phoenixes, probably the best opener for Protoss against Terran. I'm going to throw a few asterisks in there, as they are very fragile. They're very brittle. They can be taken down easily. A Little Mine, a Cyclone. But no other unit both gets you the scouting information, survives a Widowmine hit, and potentially shuts down all that early Terran aggression and harass between the Raven, Widowmine drops, and just small pushes in general. The Phoenixes can pick them apart when well managed. So Classic opting for that sharp opener there, not the least bit surprising, as with only 2 gateways, he gets a 3rd base, more Phoenixes, and a robotics bay. So sprinting up the tech tree, not stopping to branch out into any sort of gateway action, but instead going to rely on the information gathered from those Phoenixes, which is Cure went for the 1-1-1. He's building up into a bio push. The best defense is going to be splash damage. En masse, if possible. And in this case, Colossus seems to be the choice. Here, keeping his Raven at home. Looks like he's content to sit back with a bit of a 2-base. At least for now. Triple threat in production. Stim combat shield plus 1 infantry weapons. All the fixins coming together. And once they do, alongside a couple medevacs, he will likely move out and try to kill the 3rd, if not outright win the game. Because the Raven is the key point. There's a Whittle Mine hidden behind there. We can see the little outline. I don't know if Classic noticed it. He did come around the side, indicating he either suspects it or saw it burrowing. So far, an annoyance. Cure at 44 workers. Classic at 53. But Classic is only at 3 gateways. He's only added 1 more on throughout this. Well, the Phoenixes keep getting the damage done. The Widowmine is still there. Will unburrow. Cure just gave up on the whole idea. Observer will spot all this moving out. Cure. But he just did not bother with the Observer. Alright. Well. The Colossus count. 1. That's not particularly many. The Raven, the most important unit in the game right now. If that Raven is able to land an interference matrix or 2, then Kier could run away with the fight. That's the Colossus right there, clearly chasing it down. Scrambles the Colossus, but has to go pretty deep for it. Loses the Raven after the first hit. Widowmine's drawn out into some depths. Could have been a lot worse. The interference matrix about to come out. Oh, a second Colossus pops out, knocked down immediately. Another Widowmine hits the Stalkers. But the first interference matrix was forced early enough that the Colossus steps back into the fray and is able to drive Kier back. Extended thermal land's about to complete. This game, I believe, was played before the bug which increased its range from 9 to 10. Though not 100%. I have to check with Bobby the intern on that one. And he's been on a lunch break for about 3 months, it seems. Much to Hearthstone and, well, Terran's dismay. I don't think we can actually check. So whichever version fits your narrative, I'd say is the Colossus right now. But I'm reasonably sure this is before the bug. Well, the Observer spots the entire medevac fleet load up. The Phoenixes will chase it down. Kier has to unload immediately. Alright, he still has 1 medevac with units in it. The People's Terran, not the most precise when it comes to dropping multiple medevacs of units. He still has a medevac with units inside of it. Just holding on to it. No, totally misclicked that one. Classic has acquitted himself well. He held the early attack. Yes, 1 Colossus kind of snapped up for free by Kier, but past that, he's been able to build up the economy. He's got 5 more gates on the way. Oh god, Kier! Ah, he's still got the units in the medevac, alright? He's sandbagging. He doesn't even need all those units. Does he not notice? Like, what is going on here? He still hasn't unloaded them. Conscientious observers. Okay, he's dropping them out now. I had to go to the Kier cam for a moment to figure out what was going on there. Now, would 1 more medevac of units have mattered? I don't think it would have changed whether or not he takes that fight. But, certainly, doesn't help. There's a Hellion? No? I don't know if that Hellion's been there the whole time. Ghosts on the way. Kier still full production here. Not slowing down at all as his supply, despite not having a 3rd command center. Well, you can see Classic starting to run away with the income a bit, as he's now got a solid 3 bases, even though the worker count isn't that much different. The access to those more efficient minerals is really starting to show. +1/+1. Going to be completed for both sides. Kier, where's your armory? It hasn't even begun. That means no 2-2 for the People's Terran. Whereas Classic starts his immediately. He had an upgrade disadvantage, but soon enough, that will turn into a 2 upgrade advantage overall. Classic sharking around the edges now. Knows he has the army, he has the production, he has the economy. There's no reason not to be out here. Kier, I think starting to feel a bit intimidated by by Classic's army. And sitting back, waiting for his opportunity. Classic, the casual behind the back gold base there. He just wants those minerals. Disruptor to clear out the Widow Mine. Kier almost gives him a couple extra Marauders for free. But the army supplies are very important here. Kier might have a few less work. Oh my god, he just 10.5-minute armory. Oh, it's so late. But the EMPs can soften up much of the army. Oh, 1 goes almost. Gets it, gets 1. Vikings kiting back, but will be exposed for a bit. Widowmine's able to burrow. Doesn't quite get it. Loses several Vikings, as well as Phoenixes here. Disruptor shot. Kier splits back. Reinforcements, another Ruptor. Going to force another. So, oh, that one hits home. Another shot. The Vikings are just laying into it. The boys are pulled. They're pulled into an Archon. The Colossus count is dwindling. Somehow the Vikings are still intact, and Kier able to put the army together. The boys pulled off the line at the last moment. Disruptor recalled. Oh, that's such a sad recall, to be honest. Like, oh, come on. Recalling 1 Disruptor at the tail end of that fight. Classic now has his behind the back gold. But Cure ends up winning the fight. As well, Classic did fight before 2-2. He fought into a concave. And he gave Cure an opportunity. Oh, disruptors. He fires off a full volley. Cure's able to micro enough back. One disruptor lands, but too late to make much of a difference. Another disruptor pops out. Think he's got 2 robos here. Fires another shot. Targeted down. Vikings on deck. Doing extra damage against stalkers and disruptors as well. 2-2 about to finish, but Classic probably not happy. He decided to pick a fight so early, and Cure has carried that momentum back across the map. But with the upgrades completing, Classic should be able to hold on at least a little while longer. Yes, even with some ghosts, even with plenty of medevacs here. The 2-2 is a big deal in these fights. Cure just started his +2 weapons upgrade. There's a Dark Shrine on the way, completing the double Ds of destruction. For Classic, EMP to soften up some of the zealots. Reinforcements parading across the map. The charge lots doing what they do best. Trying to target down some of the medevacs the Stalker's forced to bring back. And the Widow Mine recharges and connects again. 3-3 is now on the way for Classic. Joining Cure with 2-2 just started. There is a chance Classic hits 3-3 right around Cure's 2-2. Depends on how diligent the Chrono Boosts are. But Cure unable to break through quite yet. Maybe should have brought the boys all the way across the map, but it's 82 to 58 workers. Classic now mining from the gold. And Cure finds a base, finds a better, juicier target than the army itself. Another Widow Mine blinks out to the side, losing a few probes here. Cure has not even looked on that side of the map, so the gold base may end up being an issue. Airball on the Ruptor. He's got one more shot. DT's on the field. Does Cure have any scans? It's a real concern. Disruptor clips a Zealot and nothing else. Oh no, the Disruptor is going forward. The DT finds an opportunity. Scan. Cure has the energy in the bank. Another round of charge lots. Now the DTs are revealed. A bit of a lackluster start to their careers. The charge lots are chasing down. The Marauders have been abandoned. Where are the Marines to provide that actual DPS here? The Marauder's not nearly as good, except for slowing down the charge lots. They're to protect the Marines on the back line, especially with these upgrades kicking in. Cure, what a scrappy game, and I mean that. It's not just a mess, but about as costly one. Oh, EMP into snipe, wombo combo. What can't Ghost do? Meanwhile, Marauders continuing forward, targeting down both the Immortals. The Medevacs, it's still an upgrade advantage, and the Disruptors don't care either way. Disruptor forces a sidestep. Liberator shows up to the party uninvited. They rarely are. +2 weapons finally done. Classic still has some time. The counter-attacking Zealot, well, there's a probe here. A Liberator is protecting the base. Widow Mine recharges. Liberator still going to work. Disruptor fires, decides to curve into the mine. Building some Immortals. He needs some reliable damage. That's what Classic is going for right now. He's still down. How many gateways? He's got 11 gates. He seems to be able to warp in off of most of them. He's got a 2,100 income advantage right now. Can he actually leverage it? Oh, the scan! The scan, he's looking for another base. He never thought about the hidden gold. Oh, the hidden gold trick. A classic tactic in every sense of the word. 2 more Robos on the way for Classic. Who's the Zerg now? A bunch of EMPs come through, but there's not... Now, the Marauder count was sliced to pieces before, and now it's just Marines and Ghosts, which aren't as good against the Mass Stalker with the 3-3 to 2-2 advantage. Oh, the Disruptor will force back the units. They're not doing damage while they're running away from Disruptor shots. A very key point, but Cure chasing it down yet again. Charge lots filing through. Stalkers beaten back. More Blink Stalkers from the north side. Cure has... Oh, I'm surprised that's not his main orbital command. He found another base somewhere. Classic continuing. He's building 3 Raptors at a time. And it continues. Cure continue, like, he's rallying across the map. His medevacs, I don't know if they got EMP'd or he just stimmed so much. He's almost out of energy. But the medevacs are exhausted. The quad robo. Classic can't quite afford the quad robo production. It might be time to go back towards Colossi with the +3 here. There's not a Viking on the field, and there hasn't been one for almost 10 minutes. Classic's starting to mine out the gold. He's taking the full top left corner. Yeah, he's not even taking the base that seems most obvious. And Cure honestly hasn't had the intellectual curiosity to look for it. 2 more bases. He's going for both corners. Assuming he can hold on to at least one of them. Cure is very suspicious of this. Classic has not tried nearly as much aggression as he probably should have been if he was just on 4 bases. But a disruptor shot. He might be forcing him in. Hot on the tails of the purification. Did he notice? Did he notice? I think he might by the end of this. I can't... disruptor has to be thrown to the side. I don't think Cure noticed. Classic, you can hear the painful deaths of the ghosts. I think he's using the Nova Covert Ops ghost, which extra painful. Cure landed in orbital. Wait, that's his natural. It immediately dies. There's the gateway right there. Cure going into something of a base trade. Classic is looking at the base trade in Terran. He's got such a strong army. Disruptor volley fired. Looking for connections. Finding them. Widowmine's not gonna land. Zealots, Marines, and Marauders dying alike. Bases being cleared out on both sides. Of course, this is how this is gonna go. So who comes out on top? When does the recall come through? The disruptors must be maintained. Classic still has an economy. He's still got 72 workers here. He's still mining, whereas Cure is scrambling around the map. +3 weapons still isn't done. We're 18 minutes in. That could have been done in half the time. Denied. So Classic's army will continue to be better than Cure's. Alright, the disruptor shot. Ooh, it connects. Another shot. Fade away. Finds more ghosts. Another one. Finally able to dodge one. But Cure is running out of real estate, running out of options, and he never found the hidden gold. I can't believe it worked. Oh my god, it's a disaster for Cure. A hard-fought battle, but Classic has kept him busy enough that the gold actually paid off. Oh my, an exhausting game. But, oh, disruptors firing through. Whoa, he's trying to he gets them all. But in the end, does it even matter? Well, more Immortals are coming. I think that's too many Immortals. I think he's got, yeah, the 3-3 to 2-2. He did kill every disruptor. If the economies weren't so absolutely atrocious here. If Cure had more patches to drop mules on. But Classic, eventually, he loves his tech play, and I guess this counts. But just the brute force economy. Classic has lost, well, about the same after that last fight, but 1,000 more gas as well. How many? He's lost 14 disruptors, 52 stalkers. Cure's lost 21 ghosts, though. Another base. Pretty much all of the mining Cure has taken down. Somehow manages to dodge that last Ruptor hit, but won't be dodging anymore. As Classic is able to power through in game 1. Oh, that was an exhausting one. I really thought for a moment Classic had overstepped. It is so easy to fight against the grain and feel like you have an advantage, especially when you fought with the Colossi before 2-2 against Cure's Concave. But Cure unable to, well, he doesn't find the hidden gold. It really felt like a desperation play, but it paid off. He gambled, and sometimes when you gamble, you win. Well, game 2. Classic with a 1-0 lead. Wait, where are you going? Is he searching for proxies? It's like that hidden base works so well. I'm gonna try to get him now. He's looking for proxy racks. Not a bad move. Probe. Top 3 on the most annoying units in the game list. Top 1 if you don't allow Terrans to count Widow Mines and Liberators. Probe going to marginally discourage the command center. Oh no! God, no! Ah, run! Oh, I can't believe he gave up on that. Like, you got like 2 more seconds. You got to stay hot on his trail. You had to turn a little bit, right? Oh, the Artosilope getting pushed out of the way by the SCV. Fears confrontation. Classic Turtle Terran. The shield should regenerate by the time the probe comes back. Yeah, not even a high five or chest bump on the way. Well, quite a display from Classic. I love the commitment to form. That's one of my pet peeves. It's pretty low on the list. I have a very long list. Okay, but it's pretty low on the list. Is especially Protoss, but general unwillingness to build more tech buildings. Because you're not supposed to. Like, a robo costs less than an immortal. By a lot. So it costs less than a disruptor. So building 1 or 2 more robos in a game that's very likely to go more than 10 minutes is barely any investment at all. And if he had 2 or 3 less immortals, Classic easily loses some of those fights. I like how he just went for it. He just slapped him down. It was clear he knew what he was doing, as he put him right next to the other one. So if he can't count, well, that would confirm a lot of Protoss stereotypes. Reaper takes 2 hits on the way in. Will he see the Stargate? Unfortunately, yes. If he was able to deny the Stargate info, that would be pretty huge. Make it a lot easier to get critical damage done, or at least catch Cure off guard. But the Reaper gets in. First Phoenix, headed across. Not a huge risk, even if he loses it. Usually worth the scouting info. Here's doing almost exactly the same thing. The classic Widowmine. Oh! Manages to skirt it. Gambling a bit. There's no other mines, but Viking pops out. So he got pretty much every tidbit, every scrap of information he could from the base there. It's a Viking, there's a Widow Mine, reactor barracks, no third command center, or at least incredibly unlikely. It's very likely to be a follow-up of 2 more racks after that, as he already has the reactor, and the Viking mine is relatively cheap. If you were going to go mech, you'd probably already have a tech lab, and really, you don't go mech against Protoss. You might go battlecruisers eventually, but even... Yes, TY did go mech against the man himself, Classic, multiple times in GSO. But it is a big risk and quite map dependent. On maps that aren't Neo-Humanity, it does feel incredibly hard to actually pull it off. And it's just not better in most scenarios. It's a lot easier to get a barracks, doesn't cost any gas. And Marines do quite well for themselves. So Cure is like, well, let's try it again. It's essentially identical, the build. From both sides, really. We're gonna wind it up and go again. As we have Phoenixes into Colossi. I think Classic cut a couple. He actually built 2 Immortals. Bit of an interesting shield battery placement there as well. I think a lot of players will build the shield battery even against Terran. And it'll cut off kind of the circulation of your units. They'll start tripping over each other. I'm looking to be proven right here, but I kind of like the space he's left in order to kind of maneuver your units around, because that becomes such an issue, especially against things like tanks or Vikings, where if you're a little out of position, that can be a lot of damage you didn't need to take. There's another pylon on the edge. Yeah, giving himself space to work. And Cure. Here we go. Does he pull the boys? Any of them? We got the medevacs finishing triple threat on the way. Extended thermal lance is going to be done, though. Classic, I feel, has refined his build to deal with this specifically. And it did pretty well before. Like, he cut out a couple more Phoenixes. At least he cut them out until he had his tech online. And now he's re-adding Phoenixes in, as opposed to spamming Phoenixes right off the bat. This means he'll have extended thermal lance, and he'll have 2 Colossi out by the time the push comes across the map. Sure, he's unlikely to snipe the Raven. The Raven does have enough energy for 2 interference matrices. Whoa, he already loses 1 Phoenix. Does a lot of damage to the Raven, but a lot is not enough to kill. Viking headed towards the main, trying to force at least some lack of attention there. But the shield battery placements are really good. Scrambles 1, gets both! The dead Raven! The projectile was already out. The Colossi waiting for their moment. Another no, not again! Oh, Cure picked up a medevac full of units. Why does this keep happening? The People's Terran, so relatable. And now, in so bad of a position. But he's going to kill a lot of probes for his trouble. It went about as bad as it ever could have for Classic. And it still went okay, I think. Like, we lost a lot of probes, but he's going to kill every medevac. He got every one of those units. Even though he got both Colossi scrambled and a 3rd killed on arrival and lost his robo. And, okay, I'm adding up a lot here. But he did kill 4 medevacs, a Raven, and like 30, 40 supply of bio. So, it was another scrappy game begins. There are 2 Widow mines. He's trying to draw out multiple hits here. There's another mine. Oh, that one hits the Stalkers. Kier doing a good job of buying time with them. But Classic knows he has an opportunity. And, yeah, he forces the not-so-orbital to lift. The boys are repairing, drawing some fire, literally from the Colossi. But the command center itself is falling. Kier has already lost 9 SCVs in this fight. He just didn't have enough units to fight. Widow mines will land. Their hits, oh my god, there's nothing left underneath. Well, a single brave SCV continues to repair, recalls the Colossi, loses 1. And it looks like, well, it looks like the command center will live. Barely. If he continues to repair it. It's still burning. Alright, 1 SCV repairing. Big job, huh? Ah, what a mess. They both throwing units at each other. I think Classic comes away a little better with his attempt at a game-ending attack, but it did not actually outright win. So, now Cure has a 3rd command center. He's got 1-1. Classic still doesn't have 1-1 done. He's about to finish it up, but it's not like he's going to have a huge upgrade. Oh my god, he didn't notice the Widow Mine. And into the main, spots the Dark Shrine. 2nd Widow Mine, looking for an opportunity, only gets 1 kill. Here's going to be able to pick it up. Spylon, spotted. But it does its job of spotting. Which was quite a sentence. Five barracks done. Yeah, Cure is about as close as he's going to be on supply right now. As Classic just had his gateways kick in. Does he have? He has 2 robos. Disruptor, dangerously close in the mineral line here, but will clear up the mine. I'm pretty sure that's not a super pylon there. Yeah, it's not close enough to the Nexus. Another Spylon. Classic down on army supply. This time, Cure is building an armory. I think at a relatively quicker point, but it times out to about the same at 10:30 as last game. They've both beat up on each other so hard. Another mine. Oh my god, 16 probes! It's a disaster! I'm sorry, Jimmy. Instant replay. I'm going to give the people an opportunity to see the carnage here. As, I don't know. We'll go to the Classic cam. Oh, he missed it! He wasn't paying attention! Oh, he's just looking the wrong way. The probes stack up. The cannon in the middle line. 16 probes with just 3 mines. He will clean them up, but suddenly, just like that, Cure's right back in it. As The economic advantage that Classic was leaning on is gone, evaporated in the Widowmine missiles. And now, well, 2-2 is on the way, so at least he'll have that. But assuming the army survives. But a very similar scenario, Classic moving out on the map with his upgrades 2/3 of the way done. So this is the moment when he doesn't have an advantage. This is the moment when Cure can match him on the field. Of course, this is most of Classic's army against about half of Cure's. So a disruptor shot doesn't land. 2 more shots. The orbital! Oh no, Cure! Cure loses the orbital outright. Disruptor shot. Clips some marauders. Another. The Terran army is surrounding. But Cure lost 40 SCVs. Oh my god. It's a total disaster for everyone. The DTs, the SCVs at the 3rd. This game is a mess. Classic finishes 2-2 for the 9 or so zealots left over. So maybe a bit of a questionable timing, but he does find 42 SCV kills, which, you know, is the solution to most things. So, but Cure now has 91 to 48 army supply. The charge lots slicing up some of the bio. The army is disjointed for Cure. He doesn't have 2-2. He doesn't even have it in production right now. He's trying to close in. EMP attempted disruptor shot. More bio on the way in. 2 more disruptors join the fray. Widowmines not able to fire in time. There's the warp prism. The ghosts. Warp 90 supply apiece, but the probes are going to be taken down. Cure, his army is whittled down significantly, but with the medevacs, he is able to keep most of it intact. Or at least enough to severely threaten. Down goes the base. 15 probes alongside it. Another disruptor shot. One shot could change everything, but hasn't really managed to land so far. Another Ruptor. That one gets a Ghost and a Marauder. Maybe a couple Marines in the mix there, too. Vikings on deck. Remember, it's 2-2 here, so if the medevacs aren't involved, the bio army will crumble quickly. All right, more Ruptors. There's enough to just continue firing the shots. I didn't get it in time. He eats a shot. Another one. Forced to pick up into the medevacs. Juggles back. Cure starting to dip in supply here. He micros out of it. He actually baits the Zealot into the Ruptor shot. It's a mess. Oh my god. Cure picks up again. I think that this one was intentional. Classic is only on 3 bases, but Cure's only on 25 SCVs. The supplies just keep dipping. It lower and lower. What? GG now, Cure? Why? Oh, Cure. I can't believe you've done this. I get it, but I think he's actually misjudging his place in the game by a pretty significant bit. In neither game. This time there wasn't a hidden base. This time there wasn't an opportunity. But this time, Cure just taps it out. And Classic takes it 2-0, which brings us to our bonus game, which is Dark versus Hero. And I'm telling you now before you tune out. Because I have a few series of, well, mostly Dark. Like, you can't go a day without a Dark game. There's a lot of games that are like 5 to 10 minutes long of Dark that are just one-offs. I mean, also Heroes here. But that I'm going to be slipping in for bonus games, so don't miss out. And don't skip to, like, come on, that series was ridiculous. How could it get even worse? I don't know what... I questioned it. That was a bit early on the tap out, I think, for Cure, but it definitely wasn't trending his way. What a incredibly scrappy series. And now Dark has just given up on expanding to his natural, so he's going to take the rich gold. Or the rich Vespine base, right off the bat. Oh yeah. The bonus games, I try sometimes to find the same player. I try to find the same matchup. But at some point, I think just have a good game slapped on the end is the best way to go. Especially since then, you guys don't know what to expect. I've got about 30 seconds before we transition to commentary on this game, but wow. That truly did feel like a People's Terran game. Cure is macro on point, but just didn't quite do it enough right. Classic struggling to land anything, but finding the hits where he least expects them. Ending up, like, he killed the orbital, and he killed 40 SCVs in that last fight. What was that? Cure! And that's how he earned his type. Thankfully, there are almost no Protoss in the GSL, so he doesn't have to worry too much about him going into the semifinals yet again. Will Kira take the finals this time? Make your predictions. Well, so, Hero knows there is a third out here. And he's about to know exactly where, because he went for the 2-gate. He's knows that Dark is up to shenanigans. The probe is patrolling, waiting to wall off, make what passes for a door. Roach Warren is on the way. Most of the reason to take this base is to get that rich Vespine that mines twice as fast. But Hero cutting off the drones already. And Dark, is that a pylon? He's just gonna hardwall it. Why not at this point? Dark off to a pretty rough start here. Just YOLOing it. Roach Warren is on the way. Probably the least surprising Roach Warren he could have built. Slot High Council in the main. So since Hero is hardwalled off, that means Ravagers could indeed be dangerous. 5 more seconds on Zergling speed. That's a very important timer right now. Tries to get the surround. Oh, but Hero gets behind the minerals, and that means 3 Adepts survive to kill more probes. Oh, this is already looking very bad here for Dark. I'll admit to you, I only watched this game far enough, because even for the bonus games, I don't want to spoil myself. I watched this game far enough to see Dark take the middle base. I didn't know exactly what happened past that. And it appears that what happened is, well, Hero lost the Adepts. So, there's a Dark Shrine on the way. Okay, wait a second. Ravagers are a real, like, if the DT's finish. Yeah, this isn't over. Never mind, I take it all back. I take all my apologism back there. Despite Hero scouting it and killing a bunch of drones, this has very, very real kill potential. As, yeah, he has to shield battery overcharge his way through a pylon. And these are the only 2 gates, by the way. He could just kill the gates. You can't warp in any DTs without any gate waste. Professional tip. He's gonna build another, like, he can just go, he's in, and then he's in. You can't let him in here. Okay. Oh my god. He's not sending his best. He's sending his Zerglings, his Ravagers, the Dark Shrine. How is this working? Oh my god, Hero, what have you done? It's a disaster. I don't know what he should have done, but I've got a pretty decent idea of what he shouldn't have. This is the build, this is the style of build Dark uses against, like, randos in the first round of a tournament. I checked some games. He just did to Hero. I tell you, Dark has no... By the way, I want to point out one last thing. Dark using the... Okay, Hero is using the Zest portrait. Great choice. Dark is using the Dark portrait. Yeah, from when he was a little younger and he won the WCS like 7 years ago. But... So, and I mean, with a game like that, Hero scouted it. He knew it was coming, and Dark just busts down the door like he owns the place, and I guess he does. That's literally the Roach timing he does against, like, whatever rando decides to sign up and waste his time in the first round of a tournament. Except the rando is his teammate, and he's named Hero, and he's the #1 Protoss in the world. So, classic Dark game. Classic and then Dark game, actually. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. I hope to keep bringing you... I noticed that series is a little older, but I have run it through my algorithms, okay? AKA looking for games I might... Or especially shorter series I might have missed from earlier tournaments. And I noticed that the resources lost per minute, which is the metric I use to find good games from earlier tournaments, was very high in Classic versus Kier. And I'm like, we'll give it a shot. And I'm not disappointed, though highly amused. I hope you were as well. Hope I made your day a little bit better. Jimmy, let's cut it off. All right. Time to stop talking. We'll see you tomorrow. 1,090 likes. Thank you for watching. Just cut. It's enough. Just stop. Just stop the video. It's over. Just edit it out. Edit